And happening right now at 5, we are waiting for Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman and also Mayor Pro Tem Michelle Fiore to speak.
They will be at City Hall, and 13 Action News will take their announcement live. This comes days after Fiore addressed allegations that she went on a racially charged rant at the recent Clark County Republican convention earlier this month.
And 13 Investigates reporter Joe Bartels was there when she addressed the controversy and now joins us live from Las Vegas City Hall. Joe.
Yeah, Todd, Tricia, this press conference was called within the last hour or so, and all we know is that Mayor Pro Tem Michelle Fiore and Mayor Goodman will address the media here at City Hall. Rudy Garcia will show you the cameras and the microphones that are gathered here right now. If you're just tuning in or just watching kind of what's going on here, this started about a week and a half ago during a GOP local convention in which Mayor Pro Tem Michelle Fiore was one of the speakers to about 150 people that had gathered, their guests as well. During the course of that convention, the GOP chairman of Clark County said that Mayor Pro Tem Michelle Fiore had said several things that he, in his estimation, were inappropriate, inaccurate, and insensitive, and racially inflamed the tensions that are going on locally. There was that news conference you mentioned last week, and we were there, and Mayor Pro Tem Michelle Fiore was asked about her comments and what exactly she said. She did not reiterate anything and actually fired back at one of the reporters for asking a question to reiterate what word she had said. And then she doubled down on what she basically had said during that convention, basically telling anyone, challenging them if there was any kind of video recording and or audio recording to come forward and release that publicly. She says that she does not have any racial bone in her body. She says that she does not really discriminate against really anyone. Despite that, Cedric Creer, a councilman here for the city of Las Vegas, had essentially asked her to be stripped of her mayor pro tem title. She's essentially the second in command here at the city of Las Vegas. So the mayor released a statement just a little bit ago after that, and she said that she was considering it and looking at it right now. So we are waiting on the mayor to take the podium really here at any moment here. So we're just standing by for this news conference. And Todd, Trish, if I can answer any questions you may have, I can do that right now for you.
All right, Joe, I know you had mentioned, I remember at the press conference, she kept going like this with her phone saying, if anybody does have any video, please come forward. Have we heard of anything? Also, she had mentioned that she just speaks very openly, and that was the Brooklyn in her.
Yeah, she did say that she kind of wears this as a badge of honor. She says that she sometimes, talks, shoots from the hip as she speaks, and that was just her East Coast upbringing. So we do have that news conference starting right now. Let's go ahead and Rudy, if you go head over there, and we'll listen in right now.
Okay. Let me just make sure. Hello. I am here today and want to be clear on stating that there is no room for racial division. Social justice is a human right for all. And I say this because I've spent the last 8 years working tirelessly to give equal opportunity and an equal voice to all. The focus of our community needs to be on healing, not hatred. And I would hope that we could all come together and focus on justice, not chaos. During my time at the Nevada State Legislature and throughout my career, I've worked towards equality and embraced diversity in our community. I have supported and endorsed candidates from minority communities with different backgrounds. We saw almost 100 bills passed during my time at the legislature dealing with things like criminal justice reform, right to try, and equal rights. Many of these bills were designed to remove the stereotype that have plagued our communities for years. Together, we worked to create opportunity by empowering communities, granting access to innovative medical choices, and creating second chance programs to help people get back on their feet. And here at the city, we've spent the last 3 years working on decriminalizing and sealing records for nonviolent drug offenses, helping to remove barriers that have stood in the way of so many. And this is the record that I am committed to continuing to fight for every single day. Healing in our communities will take a lot, and I am committed to meaningful and lasting change. I take pride in the fact that I work tirelessly for my constituents of all races, of all colors, and of all religions. And rather than listening to the rhetoric, I want to be resolved in advancing a real dialogue among our communities. This starts with community meetings, town halls, and real community outreach. Our focus is to work against the racial divide that has split this country and work towards quality and unity among all of us. I look forward to working with each and every one of you to help make that happen. I love this city for everything it has given back to so many, and I take great pride in being Mayor Pro Tem and the time and energy that it takes. Right now, my time would be better spent on a course of action that will help repair the many hurting communities who have been affected by this deep divide. So for the benefit of the city of Las Vegas, those I serve with, and those I have the pleasure of serving, I am passing the obligations of being Mayor Pro Tem back to our mayor so that I can freely address these important issues and create real resolve rather than just listening to the rhetoric. I want to thank Mayor Goodman for the opportunity to serve as her Mayor Pro Tem, and I will always remain at her service. Thank you.
This is such a meaningful time, and I hope I didn't ruin anybody's listening here. But I really want to thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Fiore. You know, for all of us, we're at the end of the fiscal year. Our calendar goes to June 30th. And I appreciate everything that you have given your heart and soul to in doing for our communities. She's had the most loyal of services to the city of Las Vegas with such great enthusiasm, a fabulous work ethic, and a willingness to roll up her sleeves and just really get in there and do what's required for the betterment of our whole community. I can attest to the fact that I believe in no way can Mayor Pro Tem Fiore ever be considered or have been considered a racist or a bigot. She has just been loyal and giving to every community all the time. And I believe she has the best of intentions and always the biggest heart. I know she will continue to serve her ward with enthusiasm and dedication, and the city of Las Vegas perpetually, faithfully, and loyally. And I appreciate this opportunity. You have a very full plate, and if in fact you are, as you say, so committed to being involved to make this a full, diverse community that we've all been working on so hard, I think this is just really a generous and wonderful day for you, for me, for the city that we both love so very, very much. And I applaud you and thank you for your loyalty and your hard service all this time. So I think, Mr. Riggleman, I mean, if there are any questions,
folks.
just a couple, because really and truly, this is an announcement that I just learned of this afternoon at 3:30, and a lot of deep, loving thought for our community has gone into this.
Ms. Fiore, does the reason that you're stepping down have
Mayor Pro Tem will have you come back over to Mike.
Okay, and I'll step aside.
does it
Yes.
have anything to do with the comments that you were accused of making at the GOP convention?
Absolutely not. Next question?
So we never got, when we asked, did you say White Lives Matter, did you make those statements in fact make those statements?
So I think maybe you missed the last press conference, but you can refer back to the press conference that was at 4 o'clock. So do you have another question?
Yes, I saw when we were there, we asked you, did you say that White Lives Matter did not confirm?
So I'm going to tell you this. We've had a lot of rhetoric and no resolve. I stand by what I said at our Republican convention. I'm going to tell you, what I'm not going to say is create more chaos by repeating it. So is there anyone else with another question?
Yes or no, did you make the comment?
Do you have another question? Okay, I guess we're done.
A question for the Mayor.
Yes. Share this with you.
Thank you.
Yes. Oops.
Councilman Creer had called upon you to make this decision to replace Michelle as Mayor Pro Tem. Obviously, with Michelle stepping down, that's not a decision that you will have to consider any longer. But can you tell us if you had arrived at a decision in terms of what the councilman was asking of you before Michelle announced her decision?
First, I'd like to say I appreciate all the council members that we have. Everybody works from his own ward and is really earnest in trying to do what they individually believe is right for the city. When I received the phone call from Councilman Creer that he had a letter for me to read, and it's a heads up, I had no idea what was in it. So to answer you truthfully, I was quite surprised by it, because I know Mayor Pro Tem has always, and you know, operates with her own beliefs and what she thinks is the right thing to do. So I was surprised at it. And what was your other part of your question?
Had you arrived at a decision based on what he was asking of you?
No, what I had done was had met with our Mayor Pro Tem a couple of times, talking about issues that we were facing in the city overall, that she might be facing as well, and working on some of her Ward 6 issues. I know that I had always been thinking, if she decides she wants to stay on and get out in the community and talk to the other council members, that would be her prerogative. At this point, because of COVID, so many people out of work, so many small businesses losing their ability to function and stay alive. We have so many issues out here that were higher priority at the moment. I was thinking, well, if Michelle should, Mayor Pro Tem should decide that she wants to continue on and she's ready to talk to everybody and see if that works. I was thinking that's one thing. And then I thought, well, if she does say, you know, we're coming to the end of the year, I have a very full plate, and July 1 or first week of July is when you appointed me last year, it would be appropriate time to be thinking about who might serve us in that. And until at 3:30, when I heard her decision, I had always had in the back of my mind, if in fact she were to step aside to continue her jobs, who would I think of? And without question, my first thought to mind was my original Mayor Pro Tem, who is our senior most city council member. He's been on 10 years or 11 years, which would be Stavros Anthony. He's been a very big support on the council, very even, very thorough. And so at 3:30, when I spoke to the councilwoman, Mayor Pro Tem, I immediately saw coming right down the hall Councilman Anthony, and I called him in and I said, I just learned, and would you be willing, if to be ratified by council, would you accept the position to take back on the Mayor Pro Tem position, which you so ably took care of my first 4 years? And so he said, whatever the mayor should want. And I said, it has to be ratified, and we will not have another city council meeting till July 8th. And so that's where we are, and I don't think I can give you anything more, because this really, the final decision, 3:30 to me, and I actually said, so what's your decision? I was unclear as to what it would be. And I just think you love the city, I love the city, and this is all about our wonderful, diverse community that is like no other in the world.
Mayor Goodman, we saw that you released a statement yesterday talking about the demonstrations that we've seen here in the Valley all over the nation. What would you say say right now to the protesters who have been filling the Las Vegas streets for the past, more than 2 weeks? What is your message to them if they're watching right now?
The message is, I love the First Amendment. I fight for the First Amendment. I love that voices are heard. I do not like disrespect. I do not applaud at all anybody who is less than equal with someone else, treating them differently. I've raised our 4 children that way, and I absolutely applaud getting your voice heard peacefully. Don't let other people do things that take your voice away, but do it respectfully, because this is something we're all undertaking together. And I am a champion of all the people. In fact, when I called my husband the other day, I said, we're having this racial divide here. There was a lady who was a columnist. Was she black or white? And he said, why are you asking that question? I said, because I can't remember, because I don't see color. I don't see color. And so the racial divide is to keep us as one big family here in Las Vegas. There is no other community like ours where we can boast so many cultures and races and religious beliefs. And so to answer your question, that was too long, but absolutely, I appreciate the peaceful protests.
We have time for one more question. Enzo?
Fiore, you talked a little bit about this earlier, but was there something specific that sort of made you come to this decision? And how difficult was it for you, both personally and professionally?
So, if you folks don't know our mayor, she is classy, she's well-spoken, she's articulate, she behaves, but she married her opposite, Oscar. And I am a lot like Oscar. And this past weekend, I was reelected as the Republican National Committee woman for the next 4 years. And I've got 5 months to make sure we get 4 more years of Donald J. Trump. And I could tell the rioters and all the bad actors here in our city and across the nation that they've made my job a whole heck of a lot easier, because the majority of Americans do not like riots, they do not like mayhem, and they do not like this divide. So this past weekend, getting 90% of the vote from my Republican peers as the Republican National Committee woman, with a big job ahead of me in the next 5 months to ensure that Donald J. Trump gets another 4 years, making a decision to give our mayor back the duties of the mayor pro tem in order for me to focus hard and make sure we get this mayhem under control. It was not a hard decision.
Folks, I'm afraid we're out of time.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And there you have it. Mayor Pro Tem Michelle Fiore now relinquishing her title. She is going to resume her duties as councilwoman for Ward 6, representing the northwest part of the valley. And she touched on a number of things. One of the reporters here in the room kind of pressed her on what exactly she said during that local GOP convention. She would not repeat what she had to say. She doubled down and said that she is basically been reelected to the GOP chairwoman status, and that she's going to be working hard to re-elect the president here, and showing her kind of bravado attitude that she has. She speaks very loudly and speaks from what she has to say. But guys, yeah, Michelle Fiore relinquishing her title back to the mayor of Las Vegas here to decide on what her next mayor pro tem will be.
And Joe, we couldn't exactly hear all the questions, but it seemed like, to your point, that Michelle Fiore was somewhat defiant, so she still refused to say publicly exactly what she said, and she still refused to say whether or not she regretted those statements and exactly if that is the reason why she is stepping down. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, that was essentially what was going on here in the room, and I was trying to kind of get the microphone to the reporters in the room here. But the question was, what did you say exactly? And repeatedly, Michelle Fiore, Councilwoman Michelle Fiore, did not address exactly what she said, saying that she did not want to, exacerbate or make things any worse, perhaps, than they are currently. So she did not go into any detail about what exactly happened last week. She, of course, doubled down and asked people to release the recordings if there were any that existed there. So yes, standing by, not really, budging either way or appeasing anybody.
Joe, thank you. We need